Pickle, let's go to the hotline. Nobody's 5-0 by accident. Ain't never happened. One of those guys who's 5-0 is the head coach of the West Mesquite Wranglers. We're joined by Coach Steven Jackson. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank y'all for having me.
How are things in Mesquite these days?
Man, it's good. Fast and furious, but it's good.
You guys are 5-0 for the first time since 2017. You came over from Seagoville in the offseason, took over a program that had won a combined 6 games in the last 2 seasons. Now you guys are 5-0 after a throttling of W.T. White. When you took over at West Mesquite, did you think that the progress would be this fast?
I wouldn't say I thought it'd be this fast, but I knew the leadership that was in place. Cody Groves has, a lot of success in his history as a head coach. So I knew they knew how to do things right in Mesquite, and they had a great group of kids, and I was allowed to bring a lot of great coaches with me. So I knew the turnaround would happen. I didn't know it would happen this fast, but I would be lying if I said I'm not excited about it.
You guys, I mentioned you came over from Seagoville, and when you got hired there at West Mesquite, we heard all about the press release, stuff like that, about what a great fit you were for that program. I'd like to kind of turn that question on its head. What was it about West Mesquite that drew you to this job? Why was this the right move for you?
Again, just the administrative part is what you look at first. You want to make sure that the right people are in place to help you be successful. The principal's great. He's a former coach, coached in Rockwall, coached at some really high profile places. So he knew what it looked like to be successful. And then you just look at the kids that they had already in place. Coach Sandoval, before me, he had a great program running. They just ran into a buzzsaw of the Longviews and the Lancasters, but they had great kids and a lot of young kids that played early. So a lot of freshmen and sophomores that are now, sophomores and juniors for us, but they have varsity experience. So those types of things are always appealing when looking at other opportunities.
Talking with Steven Jackson, the head coach of the West Mesquite Wranglers here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, I want to talk about the W.T. White game, but I also want to go back to the beginning of the season. You guys play Princeton, and you guys are in a dogfight with this program. Back and forth it goes, and Princeton kind of, won't go away. You guys end up coming away with a 37-35 victory. I think there are West Mesquite teams in the past that might have let that game get away from them, like keep pushing, and eventually they'll break. What did you maybe learn about your team with that gutty win in week 1?
I think we learned that all the things we had been putting in place throughout the off season, throughout the summer, they started to fall in place, and the kids understood what we meant about learning how to win. And that was probably, it's crazy that a turning point game can be week 1, but Princeton's a really good 6A football team. Quarterback was outstanding. A lot of good pieces. Coach Chandler's doing a heck of a job out there, and it was just one of those opportunities where our kids took to it and they didn't fold when it got close and didn't get frustrated. And you look up and down the sideline to see who's going to be mad and frustrated and talking crazy to each other, but they didn't. They uplifted each other, and they just came back and fought. Every time Princeton made a run, we made a run. So we were impressed by that with our group of kids, but I wasn't surprised because, like I said, our coaches have done a great job of just instilling that in them.
This past Friday night, you guys took on in a matchup of unbeatens, a fellow unbeaten in W.T. White, and put it on them, 41-0. This was a game where you guys dominated in all 3 phases of the ball game. I'm curious what your message was to your guys going into this game that you knew was going to be a tough one and also critical for the way that your district's going to shake out.
Yes. So for us, we've used the idea of leave no doubt all season. We knew coming in that W.T. White was a good football team. They weren't 4-0 for no reason. We saw your prediction, so that gave us some bulletin board material too. Just that, everybody doesn't expect you to go out and win this football game. So show up and leave no doubt that you're the better team. And our kids, they responded. And like I said, they've done a great job thus far all season of just showing up, making sure they're doing their job and buying into the program and what the standard is. So, it was fun because W.T. White, they have a lot of great kids and great coaches, but they talked all week about how, they were the better burnt orange team and, we were going to show up and leave 4-1. And I'm not a big talker. I'm just going to show up and play. So our kids have taken on that same persona and I was impressed with how they responded.
I want to talk a little bit about your running game. You guys have been able to really establish the run pretty much in every single game this year. Obviously, you've got some talented backs back there, but it seems to me that your offensive line is eaten as well. What have you seen from your running game to start this season that has you most encouraged?
I think for one, I think I got the best O-line coach in Texas, and Trey Allen. He's an All-American at the University of Texas. He's been at, he on the Duncanville staff with state championships, coached at South Oak Cliff. So he's been at, state championship programs, and he's instilled the toughness and the nastiness in our O-line. But then too, we've got 4 really good running backs. Demarion Robinson, he's a sophomore. We've got Kamari Carter. He's a junior. We've got Janarius Hall. He's a freshman. So we're loaded at running back. And then we have Darion Parker, who plays slot receiver for us. But I think if he had 20 carries a game, he'd have 200 yards. So, we've got 4 really, really good running backs. And our running back coach, Coach Knight, man, this is his first year coaching running backs, but you wouldn't know it just by how hard they work and the things that he does. So I'm not surprised by the running game. What I'm most impressed with is just our efficiency. Our quarterback is a senior, but man, he's from last year to this year, you could see a huge jump in just how he commands the offense, and he doesn't fluster. And we hadn't even let him be a part of the running game yet, but he's got the capability to do so.
The other side of the ball, Coach, the transformation's been stark. This is a defense last year that gave up more than 38 points per game. Now you guys are bobbing along at about 13 points per game. What, in your mind, has been the difference on the defensive side for this particular Wranglers team?
It's unheard of to have a first-year defensive coordinator come in and make the strides that Bobby Watkins has. But, he was at Louisville last year as a special teams coordinator. He's been around some really good programs, but he's come in and his staff has done a masterful job of just getting the kids to buy in and understand what it looks like to play fast and physical. And that first week against Princeton, we gave up 35 points. But like I told him, at the end of the day, I trust you to do what you came in here to do. And that's your first game as a defensive coordinator. And you could just see it in him that he had a bigger vision in mind and that they were going to come out and do some good things. In these last 4 weeks, they've done just that. So to hold W.T. White as his first shutout as a defensive coordinator, man, it was huge. And I was really excited for him because they prepare like no other. So I wasn't shocked by the outcome, but I was very excited.
Steven Jackson of West Mesquite joined us here. Coach, it's on to the next one, 7 o'clock Friday night at Mesquite Memorial Stadium. You guys come home to take on an R.L. Turner team that's off to a really nice start themselves at 2-2, a team that I think is probably better than their record may indicate. I don't want to ask you to give away your game plan here to everybody, but when you take a look at what you're going to be up against on Friday night against the Lions, what do you see?
I think Coach Fard has done a really good job, man. They run that unique offense, that wishbone option offense, and it's hard to defend, but we've seen it. We saw it against North Mesquite in their own variation of it. So I think we'll be prepared, and we're just gonna come out and play fast and physical like we know to do, and the rest will take care of itself. Plus, it's homecoming, so that comes with its own set of craziness. But I think our kids will be ready.
And finally, Coach, I do want to make sure I bring this up. Last night I texted you to see if you would be on the phone or if you could hop on the show with us. You were, of course, gracious with your time. You also replied, I'm just going to read your quote verbatim. Absolutely. I was just making a graphic with you on it. Let's see if we have that graphic. We pull this up. Here's the tweet. Shout out to my guy at Tepper for the bulletin board material. So proud of our program for focusing on the goal 1-0. I did, in fact, pick W.T. White to beat West Mesquite, and I would guess that you guys took that personally.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was, I don't take anything personally, but I love some bulletin board material just because for our kids, it gives you one more reason to show up and prove a doubt or wrong. But I didn't take it personal. I like you and Step are my guys. So for me, it didn't bother me, but it was fun nonetheless to make that graphic. And I even added a hashtag that I don't know if you said bank on it or not, but I made sure I put that in
there. Whatever works, man. I got bad news for you, though, Coach. If you're expecting me to pick against you guys each week, I got bad news for you. You might need to find bulletin board material elsewhere. But you'd rather be 5-0. He's Steven Jackson, the head coach of the West Mesquite Wranglers. Coach, appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the win and the great start, and best of luck this week against Turner.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. There goes Steven Jackson, head coach, West Mesquite Wranglers.
I love that.